Hello, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm welcome to The Point. Thank you so much for tuning in to Smart 24 TV. We drive your business. My name is Anthony Sebale, and on The Point, we analyze economic policy. We bring discussions with experts on your screen, and we discuss matters that are pertinent to the economy and those that also affect you as an individual doing business here in Uganda or even within the region as East Africa. You can catch the show live on our YouTube live stream at Smart 24 TV on that channel. You can also interact with us on Twitter at Smart 24 TV now. Well, today we have a very important discussion, and we are discussing coffee. Coffee is one of the so-called backbones of Uganda. When it comes to exports, it's the second biggest export that Uganda has. Coffee exports in the last 12 months, when you look at the period August 2022 to July 2023, totaled almost to 5.8 million bags, worth over 867 million US dollars, compared with 6.13 million bags worth over 862 previously. That shows a slight decline, and we shall get the reasons later. But still, it doesn't take away the fact that coffee is indeed one of the major exports from Uganda. Coffee still has quite a number of challenges, with one of them being value addition. We still have a question of whether our coffee is reaching the maximum levels of value addition. And the Uganda Coffee Development Authority has a mandate to ensure that coffee is well regulated, coffee is actually added value to, in order for us to reap more from coffee. Now, to add a lot of insights to our discussion, joining me on set is none other than Mr. Lutakome. Mr. Lutakome Edward, who is from the Uganda Coffee Development Authority as the Central Region Manager. You're most welcome to the show, Mr. Lutakome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for joining us. Now, first of all, when we talk about UCDA, a lot of things come to the minds of Ugandans as a regulatory body, as a coffee overseer. What is the role of the Uganda Coffee Development Authority?
Now, first, Uganda Coffee Development Authority, some people mistake it to be the controller of coffee and all that, but it is a public authority which was by an act of parliament in 1991 and which was repealed and replaced by the National Coffee Act in 2021. The authority is responsible for regulating on and off the farm. The other act of 1991 was stopping at farm gate, but now even the farm itself, even the research, this act of 2021 is really handles it. In particular, UCDA regulates, promotes, and oversees the quality coffee along the entire coffee value chain. I think you are familiar with the coffee value chain. A lot of activities that are, and a lot of things that happen to coffee right from.
Maybe you can give us a picture of what the value, because when you talk about the value chain, it sounds like a very huge chain of things. When you see the farmers, the marketers, you have so many people involved.
A chain is the actions and the things that happen, or even the coffee itself, developing it in terms of developing the varieties, research into the cup, into everything that happened to coffee. Now, from seed up to the sip, that's research, high yielding varieties, resistance to diseases and pests, and then on the farm, what is needed to produce, what is needed at the cup level. How does then the research have to look for the intrinsic values, contribution to the intrinsic values, which will the consumer will look for in the coffee. And then we don't stop there, but we look into developing the quality, keeping the quality We have the coffee, coffee quality aspects. One is the berries, the good berries, the size of the beans, and the dryness or the moisture content of those beans, the appearance, that's it, color, and the smell. All those are coffee quality aspects. So whatever happens, the coffee at the different stages, that's within the coffee value chain. But that is still at farm level. The defect count has a coffee quality aspect. So and all those which I've mentioned, we handle them in terms of the good agricultural practices and handling practices until the coffee goes out of the farm, beyond the farm. But before that, it should be dried to a certain level. It's also an aspect. That's where the traditional coffee value chain, the value addition. People think that value addition starts there. It starts there, but it would have started long ago, even before the farm, at seed level. Now, beyond the farm, traditionally, people think value starts at grading, milling, grading, roasting, packaging, branding, and then it goes to the cup. So all those are stages, all the part of the chain until it reaches the drinker, the person who drinks, who is the owner of the process, who derives the goodness, the sweetness, and the aroma. So those who sell coffee, they sell aroma and taste.
Aroma and the taste.
And the taste.
They
look for those.
Yes. When you look at, for example, the coffee we grow in Uganda, I've seen Robusta, Arabica mainly. I think I've seen those two types.
Yeah.
Are there specific distinctions between these types of coffee?
Yeah.
In terms of the aroma?
The distinctions which are very clear to start with is that Arabica makes the main cup. The main cup of the coffee is made from Arabica coffee, and the Robusta coffee comes in as a blend into the main cup. Now, another distinction is between Arabica and Robusta, that Robusta is going in the lowland, the medium and the lowland of the areas beyond around Lake Victoria Crescent, Western Uganda, Central, Busoga, the mid-north, those which are really lowland. But Arabica is grown in highlands of Elgon, Rwenzori, Kasese, all those. So those are the areas where Arabica is grown, and it's about 20% of the coffee we produce in Uganda. The 80 is Robusta.
Is that a good thing, given that fact that Arabica makes the main cup?
Yeah, but if nature can only allow us to grow Arabica in the north, but what we do about it to increase productivity, so that we can have yield to be higher, to increase the yield by unit area. That's the productivity, and it's one of the
So
areas.
even despite the small space that we have, let us have more from that small space.
Yes, the small space. That's the productivity, and also increase the production. Those who are having 100 trees, to increase in terms of numbers. That is more volume, yeah.
Now, in the calendar year, there was a drop, generally speaking, from last year's coffee output. When you look at from August 2022 to July 2023, bags over 5.8 million, and then you're looking at the previous year at 6 million and above. That's a significant drop of over 1 million bags, decreasing by about 5%. in quantity, but the quality as well, they're showing it, the value rather, the value increased on the other hand by 0.6%.
Yeah.
Could you give us comments on that?
Now, one, the volume went down because of two things. The climatic change factors, so reduced the amount of coffee Ugandans harvest per tree. Also, the pests and diseases. There is what we call BCTB, black coffee twig borer. It became very serious, and also there are some other diseases, and they are more dangerous even in the Arabica areas. And this blanket spraying is done. So diseases, pests, and then the climatic change. Yeah.
Well, when you talk about disease, how come the value, when you talk about the value, how come sometimes the value goes up and yet the numbers are
the marketing dynamics, they are there. The price changes, and then the demand and also the availability of the coffee. Those dynamics, we can't go into them now. Maybe what I told you before we came on the air is that I come from the department production.
Yes.
Basically I'm an agronomist, and those market forces. I think one day an expert.
Yes.
If you need us more, he will come and elaborate on those market dynamics and the business.
Totally.
Yes, thoroughly. We have an expert. Yeah.
Talk about the strategies that UCDA is putting in place to ensure that we raise or boost this productivity, because as you can see, I think we haven't exploited 100% of our potential in as far as coffee production is concerned, but also the productivity. So what are some of the strategies you've laid to ensure that we have more from the little we have?
Good, we have talked about potential. We agronomists believe and know that there is the agronomic potential for Robusta. The agronomic potential is about 3 kilograms of green coffee per tree per year.
Wow, 3 kilograms.
Yeah, but it can go higher.
Yeah. Wow.
That's what a tree can put at medium management level can give you 3 kilograms of green coffee per tree per year.
How many times can you harvest per year?
Twice. But we are taking the total
for the whole year.
Yeah, for the whole year. The first season is higher. No, the second season is higher. That's one of September, December. But the first season is a bit low, what we call the fry crop. And the other one is the main crop. But that is the average figure. The agronomic potential should be around 3 kilograms. But it can go very much higher, depending on the input, the high input system of when a farmer puts fertilizer, follows the good agricultural practices. There are very many, and also pests and controlling the pests and diseases. So what we do, we are trying to do, we follow the good agricultural practices. We are teaching people, or we work with them on good agricultural practices, and also control of pests and diseases, and then encouraging the farmers to go beyond the farm, not to just let go their coffee when they have harvested or even dried. So we want them to change, to continue, or to add value. That's the addition of value, and so on. Yeah. So the farmer feels that he or she gets more when he goes beyond the farm, whereas it wasn't like that at the time of before the liberalization. Before liberalization, farmers were not going beyond, because the policy was they had to sell their coffee to the primary societies, and that's they couldn't go beyond the primary societies. Cooperative societies were selling to the unions. Then the unions were selling on exporting the Uganda coffee and all that. But now the farmer go beyond just planting and harvesting their coffee. So I think that's why the volumes are even changed, because now they know what they get when they increase the production and the productivity. Yeah. So we are encouraging farmers to increase production and the productivity and even value addition.
What are some of the good and bad practices? Because as you have mentioned, you encourage them to use good practices to increase the productivity, so that we have these 3 kilograms harvested per coffee tree. What are some of those bad practices that they carry out sometimes that hold back the productivity?
Yeah. Now, mainly the good agricultural practices, there are many. You have to use clean planting materials, then plant them properly or as recommended in terms of spacing, control of weeds, control of pests and diseases. In fact, in short, loving the coffee tree. Because when you love a coffee tree, it gives you more. Like the people who rear animals, they love their animals. They give them enough food and all that. So in coffee, it is fertilizer and the control of pests and diseases, and then the trees yield better. So another thing which we, as strategies, we have the roadmap. Around 20, we were given a task of setting up a roadmap to achieve the 60 million, the 20 million bags. And this we have initiatives. Initiative number 3 is about value addition. And value addition is one of the areas which we will develop, will increase the volumes up to the 20 million bags. So we also train the value chain actors, like the roasters and the baristas and all those along with the coffee value chain. So I've mentioned so many things in the value chain.
Yeah.
If you are seeing that we start from the research there, then production at the farm, and then the value chain actors like the millers, those who are factory owners and the stores and all that. Then the graders, and there's training along that coffee value chain.
When you talk about research, have we done some very significant research in as far as coffee is concerned in Uganda, especially that towards improving the brands, improving the yield, and also controlling pests and diseases?
Oh, okay. Now you have mixed many things, but at the side of agronomy, research has developed the 10 clone lines. We call them the KR lines, which are resistant or tolerant to the coffee wilt disease. Because now the coffee wilt disease, as I told you, it reduced the volume or exports to about 2.5 million bags.
Wow, that's just one disease.
Yeah, that one coffee wilt disease, because it killed over about 50% of the Robusta. Mind you, Robusta is 80% of Uganda coffee, but it killed 50%. Wow. And even the exports is reduced to about 2.5 million bags. So the researchers came in around the 1990, 96 there. Though they were doing research before that. Now they concentrated more on control of the coffee wilt disease. We, the extension people, we taught, or we worked with the farmers in on-farm research and all that. And then over 20 years, the research of about 20 years, the researchers came out with the 10, we call them KR lines. But the research is done at a National Coffee Research Institute in Kituza. People who are doing a lot of work, very dedicated people and very learned people. So in 20 years, 10 lines came.
Wow.
And there are more coming in. I think one day you may invite even the researchers.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that means if farmers embrace these KR clones, would have actually the disease, the coffee wilt disease, actually would stop. If at all the coffee farmers embraced these new clones,
Yeah, they
would
do.
we have this disease
They were not there. They developed the new line. They developed from zero.
from zero?
The
There was nothing.
researchers
at all.
went into the field and picked those seeds which remained when the coffee disease harassed our coffee. So they went to Mudibujo, to Mukono, which were much affected. So they picked those resistant, those they found to have resisted or survived the coffee root disease. Then they started their work of cleaning, and they have a lot of work.
Yeah.
They can explain to you.
Wow.
Yeah, but the bottom line is new varieties were developed, 10 so far, and the others are in the pipeline. Yeah.
What advice would you give to farmers in as far as the seeds that they are using? Because it looks like when we were discussing even off air that before we even talk about the story of value addition,
Yeah.
on the other end, from the seed which is going into the ground, that's where value addition starts.
Yes.
And you've said already they have made research and we have seeds that have proven to be disease and pest resistant.
Tolerant.
So, tolerant. What advice would you have for farmers who are not adopting to this?
Now they have no. There is no reason for one not to adopt. I mean, if they give you a product that can save your coffee, and the farmers embraced right away, there was no resistance to that. What really caused some not to adopt it readily, because the other ones were easy to propagate, those seedlings, and they are cheaper. But they were succumbing to the coffee root disease. But now it's almost 100% adoption. Farmers would prefer the. Secondly, the seedlings, according to the scientists, they told us to abandon that vegetative propagation of the traditional varieties. So they are no longer producing, we are no longer licensing nurseries which produce seed, which use seed for propagation. Use the vegetative method. Vegetative in that the lines, those lines, the 10 lines, we UCDA together with Nakori provides these lines in terms of the mother plants, and they use the vegetative method to multiply. The farmers, they are privately owned, so they multiply using the vegetative method. No more seedlings from elite seeds. No.
Wow.
Because that method was for the other traditional, which have succumbed. However, there are stories where some farmers try to remain fixated on two seedlings, but we can't. We don't issue certificates for seedlings from those traditional Robusta varieties.
Wow.
It is the private people are given free of charge mother gardens, mother plants to develop mother gardens, and we train them on preparation using vegetatively to multiply. Yeah.
Wow, thank you so much, Mr. Utakome. We're going to take a very short break. When we return, ladies and gentlemen, do you know the value addition chain? When you talk about coffee, never begins from the end product like we mostly know it. We think, okay, when we process this coffee, at the end of the day, that we have added value to it. But there is more to that. When we return, Mr. Utakome will be breaking for us down what UCDA is doing in as far as encouraging value addition. Secondly, we'll also be looking at marketing of this coffee. How is the Ugandan farmer benefiting from UCDA's strategies to ensure that our coffee is marketed on especially the world markets, the world coffee markets? My name is Anthony, and we'll return shortly after this quick break. Stay with us.
Smart 24, driving business.
And in talking news, MTN has improved on their data voice bundles. You can now call across all networks for the same price. We've talked to several eyewitnesses on the ground, and this is what one of them had to say.
Amos, did you hear about the MTN daily voice bundles?
So, to join many more other Ugandans enjoying these MTN daily voice bundles, dial *100 *21 hash or use the My MTN app to start enjoying. Stay tuned for more offers from MTN.
Luxury redefined at Seasand Hotel as you indulge in the splendor of elegant living fit for the royalty that you are. Step into comfort, pampering and blissful customer-centric service as you select from our range of comfy exquisite living quarters furnished to meet with your royal preference. Surrounded by scenic beauty, our tropical setting allows you to escape the glamorous ordeal of city life. Our ambient green gardens will guide you to a place of revitalizing rest. The 3-star restaurant caters to your palate, serving your choice menu ranging from exotic cuisines to local delicacies. Our chefs will serve you full course meals for a truly out-of-this-world culinary experience. Our fully stocked bar to whet your throat, from renowned global brand whisks, brandies, gins, beers and wines to our locally celebrated beverages, you will not lack for any brewage. It's an all-new experience in the East at Seasand Hotel. So visit today at Plot 15 to 19 Spire Road, Ginger, or contact us on +256 751 719 960 and +256 785 354 614 for reservations. Seasand Hotels, luxury redefined.
Say goodbye to paperwork and travel costs. Now every MTN customer can register to invest in securities anytime and anywhere with Zabu in a few simple steps. Step 1. Dial *292 hash. Step 2. Select option 1. Register with Zabu. Step 3. Enter your full names. Step 4. Enter your national identification number. Step 5. Enter your national identification card number. In 24 hours, you will receive an SMS confirming your registration. Congratulations, you are now ready to invest. Smart 24, driving business.
You're most welcome back to the show. Thank you so much for staying tuned. This is The Point, where we analyze economic policy. My name is Anthony. I'm still with Mr. Lutakume Edward Sentamu, who is the Central Region Manager of the Uganda Coffee Development Authority. He has over 27 years of experience with the Uganda Coffee Development Authority, and we are still breaking down what the UCDA is doing in as far as promoting and boosting productivity and value addition in our coffee. Now, Mr. Lutakome, coming back to value addition, what Ugandans understand as value addition, and what personally I'm a victim, is when we have this coffee processed and we have it in the most easiest way to use. Let me just use a simple term: the soluble coffee.
Soluble, yes.
That is what to me appears as value addition. I feel like there's nothing more we can do beyond that. But when we're interacting, you actually opened my eyes to the fact that value addition goes beyond that. Could you define for us the leaps and bounds of value addition as per what UCDA is doing to promote this value addition to our coffee?
I remember I mentioned the initiative number 3 on our coffee roadmap is the coffee value addition, and we train, we work with other even private sector to train value chain actors in roasting, baristaship, and grading, branding, and all that. So anything that is done to the coffee and it is in line of physical transformation is value addition. It's value addition, but it's just a subset of value addition. It's a subset in that people think that's the only value addition. You have also mentioned that. But there are others which don't cause physical, which don't at least tangible. You cannot see, but the consumer can taste and decide, I tell you, this coffee is good. So we train people to do this physical transformation and adding value that way. But at the same time, we target even the value at the farm level and before. So, and the extension people within the UCDA, we handle those good agricultural practices that can enhance value addition. Yeah. So farmers are supported to access the global markets as one of the ways of encouraging value addition. Because
on the global market, I think there are grids. You don't just bring anything on the market.
There are standards.
There are standards.
Absolutely. UCDA guides on standards through market intelligence. Authority, to determine the demand and the market share. This information is very important.
I see on your website when you go to UCDA, you have Chiboko, you have FAQ, you have Arabic
we have methods of creating awareness on the going prices.
Okay.
Locally on the local market, we have SMS system. We have farmer. We have the code with the SMS. We are anybody can as long as you own a phone, you can check on the prices locally in terms of locally in Uganda and even beyond London and America. So we have a system of collecting information. We have market intelligence, and then we give the information free of charge to our clients. Now we also held the competition. For example, we hold the competitions, international competitions.
Okay.
We participate in international competitions, like the recent one, which was the Arabica coffee competition that was held in 2021 to support roasters. Our roasters went and participated. Even there's a recent one, which I don't remember very well, recent, where our people went and competed, and our brand came out very well. The participation was very good. Now, on behalf of government, we are ensuring that we have quality coffee for local and international markets. The good agricultural practices, I've enumerated them, and also those competitions at the international level, they are very good on increasing the visibility of Uganda coffee and also the market opportunities.
Well, talk about, for example, when you talk about the market, our local market seems not to have embraced the coffee culture as much. When you look at the United States, for example, they have Starbucks, they have McDonald's, they have so many brands that promote coffee drinking. And everyone in the morning, the first thing they will be looking for is, where am I going to get my coffee from? With cream, without cream, whatsoever. But they have coffee. But in Uganda, we are still struggling with that. And yet we are talking about the second biggest export That means we are pushing out actually more literally than we are consuming. And if we are to promote maybe the growth of coffee, the value addition, don't you think our local consumption somehow must be forced to grow?
Yeah, in fact, we call it domestic consumption. We have a fully fledged department with a manager for domestic consumption and the promotion. And promotion, part of the promotion is the rural people, the clients here, especially the youth. We want the youth to come in. Because sometimes there are some people who say that it's difficult to teach an old dog new tricks. So teaching me to start drinking coffee may be difficult if I was not a coffee man. But you can start drinking coffee easier because you are still young. So we are targeting institutions and we encourage them. Our coffee clubs are there in institutions, in universities, colleges, and I think it is already seen that less young people go for these other hard drinks. We don't have the figures yet, but many young people go for a cup of coffee in the evening or with the friends. They say, can I give you a cup? They go and have a cup of coffee. So we are encouraging that through those clubs. And UCDA has given several institutions coffee makers, coffee machines, and many people are adopting. Many young people are adopting coffee. And of course, I didn't mean that there are no old people, but there are many old people, especially those who had never known how coffee tastes. Because we have been going around with the Prime Minister and in her campaigns, and we were hearing people saying, hey, coffee tastes like this. I have never known. I'll continue drinking coffee because they have never tested what real coffee is. Because some people, unscrupulous people, were selling coffee husks long ago, before the 1992 liberalization. And they were selling coffee mixed with a lot of other things. But now people are becoming more aware that a coffee cup tastes like this. Yes. The aroma, and that aroma and taste, the uniqueness of the aroma and taste.
Do we have coffee tasting events in Uganda recently?
Yeah, they've been given internationally. And UCDA has been sending people, and even private value chain players. They went to international to compete at international level during shows and conferences and summits. Recently we had the G25 summit in Munyonyo, and many came from other countries to come and see. They were benchmarking what we are doing here. We are not doing badly. They see, oh, Uganda, what are you doing with the coffee? And they are seeing what is good for.
Talk about the pricing of coffee. Our product mainly, I'm still referring to UCDA's website. I have right now the coffee, the Chiboko price in Uganda is 3,000 to 3,500 per kilogram. Then the FAQ, which you call the fairly average quality. Is at 7,000 to 7,400. Then the Arabica parchment is between 9,000 to 10,000. And then the Druga coffee, Druga, is at 8,000 to 9,000. What are these? How do you break down these different price brackets? And which ones do we commonly actually access in Uganda when you talk about these prices?
Now, the world prices at international level and even demand and supply determine what the business people use. And they are not static, they go changing. Even during the 24 hours, it can change several times. But as I mentioned, those coffee quality aspects determining the price. So the higher the quality, the better the price, and they are competitive. So nobody fixes the price, but it's the consumer, and then on the world market prices determine what goes on here, because it is the exporters here who take to the who take the coffee to the world market. Yeah.
So what is, for example, Chiboko? What's the difference between Chiboko and FAQ and Arabica parchment and Druga?
Okay. Now, when you harvest, it is recommended that coffee it should be harvested when it is red ripe. Those are cherries, and it is not good to sell coffee to give it away at that level, because there's a lot you can add if you were a farmer or even a trader. There's a lot you can add, and with value addition, it is the increased share. When you add value, it means you are increasing, you are entering into the share of the price at which where you are selling the person you are selling the coffee is getting. So when you sell, when you mill your coffee, you increase the share or your share in the price that is sold at FHO. So cherry, we don't advise farmers to sell their cherry. We advise them to add the value by drying, because when you dry, you are adding the value. You are selling at a higher price, and then we don't encourage again to stop at Chiboko, because the dried cherry is what we call the Chiboko.
Yes.
That one over at 3,000.
It still has the pericarp, but it's dry.
It has the pericarp, but it's dry, and there's a moisture content that is advisable to take to the millers or to take to the stores that is beyond the farm level. So when it is milled, it should be milled at a certain moisture content, not beyond, and it is within the law. It is a percentage of moisture in the Chiboko, which is allowed for the milling. So after milling, it becomes fair average quality.
Wow, that is almost twice, because you're seeing 3,000 to 3,500, and then the FAQ is 7,000 to 7,500.
Yes.
That's twice the price, just by, you said, milling. Wow.
Yeah, because now the average, what is what we call outturn. Let's see how many kilograms of Chiboko, how many kilograms of FHU come from the how many kilograms of Chiboko. So it is usually around 50, it can go up to 55 when it is good. The higher the outturn, the higher the price. So now you can see that when you have 100 kilograms of Chiboko and you mill, and if you did very well in adding value by adding the fertilizers and all that, you can go up to 55. You are getting 55
from 1 kilogram.
55%.
Okay.
Like 55 kilogram out of 100.
Okay. So it's reducing actually.
Yes.
Okay.
Reducing in what now?
Because you have 100 kilograms and you're getting 55 kilo. Of course, removing the husks and all that. So you're coming down to 55 kilograms.
Exactly.
That's 55% of the original Chiboko.
Yes.
Nice.
Now that one again is graded into the screen in terms of screens.
Okay.
And the higher the screen, like I said about the volume, the weight of the beans and the density. So the higher the screen, the more money, the price goes up.
That means the finer the coffee, the better the quality.
Not the finer, but now the coffee.
Because when you say a higher screen, do you mean a
higher
screen
in terms of sizes?
In terms
higher
of
screen size.
That means the wider the screen.
There's what we call retention. That how many are retained of the of the big size are retained by screen. So the screen 18. So anything bigger than screen, anything that is at screen 18 and above is retained. But again, there are those which go down and they are retained at 16.
Yes.
Screen 16, then down to 12. But as I say, 18 higher price, 16 the next.
I understand.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is still at the fairly average quality.
Yes.
Okay.
But then then after that is grading. No, it's no longer fair average quality.
You have graded now. It has been graded. And I'm seeing that on the international market, the US cents per LB. I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
But it's graded on the international market.
Yes, there's an international way of standard. The standards,
Then the Arabica parchment.
The same. But of course, higher, but the prices are different, and even the markets are different. Because there's a Arabica market and then the Robusta market. The consumers or the roasters are different.
Yeah.
They go to now they go to different markets, London, New York.
As we conclude, Mr. Rutakome, what word of advice would you have for coffee farmers, especially those that have been there for a long time and those that are just coming into the business of coffee growing? What word of advice would you give them?
What I want to give them, one, to love their coffee so that they get more money. Two, to trust, it's called the vertical transition, to go up in the value chain. Those who have been selling their coffee when they are flowers, to stop that is even illegal. Then those who have been selling kiazi kiboko, let them kulemerako, let them stick to their coffee and go beyond. Or even buy coffee from their fellow farmers to make cooperative, to make farmers into cooperatives, to organize them into cooperatives, and then they can handle, they can improve on their quality, or even compete within the farmers, the members themselves, and aim at increasing in terms of volume, productivity, and then the value. Yeah. Those cooperatives can encourage them to even go further. They can grade when they are many. They can grade their coffee, they can roast, and then they can go with it. Farmers can go. I don't want to say that they should stop where or where, but we want them to go higher and higher within the coffee value chain until they call it what? The limit. The sky is the limit. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much, Mr. Rutakome. Thank you so much for sparing time and for sharing your wonderful insights.
Yes, it is my pleasure. And I wish in the future you organize a program where we tell you your things, we tell those rural people, the people who start the coffee value chain, who are the lowest value chain, so that we can push it further. Who would always complain, who are complaining that those who sell their coffee in the cup, they get a lot of money, but then they can add value and gain from these coffee quality aspects by having bigger beans and attaining higher prices. Yeah, farmers organize themselves and aim higher within the coffee value chain. I can't tell them where to go, but we tell them to jump. They would ask, jump as far as where they will have to choose. Where do they penetrate within the coffee value chain? Yeah.
Wow. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That was Mr. Rutakome Sentamu Edward, who is the Central Regional Manager of the Uganda Coffee Development Authority. Our conversation, we have framed for you some of the challenges that coffee farmers potentially could be facing and are facing at the moment, including pests and diseases, and the research that has been done to see that we have better coffee, so that we have more tolerant coffee when it comes to pests and diseases. But also the UCDA is saying that you can get into your cooperatives as coffee farmers and go up the value chain. And he has emphasized so much going up the value chain. It doesn't matter, we don't all have to be at the same level. If you're from the Chiboko level to the fairly average quality, you're definitely doing something. If you're from the Arabica parchment to the next level, that is fairly good. But all in all, we need to go up the value chain. We need to go up the value addition chain. My name is Anthony. That was it from us today. See you till next time. Have a good night. Bye for now.
Thank you.